Rachel, tell us about Ruben and what he was like.
He was very humble and nice and kind and very loved. He's dearly missed. He spoke enthusiastically about life. He had plans. He had wanted to go to mechanical school. He loved his job. He worked at Amazon warehouse, but he loved it because he got to set his own schedule. So he was off on the weekends, and he was just the light of our house. He would always make us laugh, and he was very laid back, kind of like me, just calm and quiet and reserved. And he was not aggressive, or he was just a good son. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of the young man he was becoming.
What did he like to do?
He liked to, I'm sorry,
It's okay.
it's just overwhelming. Ruben enjoyed hanging out with his friends. He was always with his friends. And when he wasn't with his friends and he was working or at home just playing online on his PS4, like he was very sociable. He had a lot of friends. So he liked doing that. He loved music. He loved cars. He was a typical young guy in his 20s.
Did he have any plans for the future?
Yes, he had talked about going to school for mechanical school. He recognized that was important skill to learn. Sometimes he'd work on his cars himself. So I guess that's what kind of, got him interested in that. He did have plans for the future as far as he was looking forward to moving out. Like a month before he passed, he had told me that he had found an apartment that he wanted to go to. And when I told my husband about that, like I was crying because it got me emotional because I didn't want him to leave. But my husband told me, well, you can't keep them forever. You have to let them go. So I was like,
But he was still your baby.
Yes, no matter what age, it's still my child to me. So yeah.
Did Ruben ever have any trouble with the police?
No, he was not a violent person at all. He was never aggressive, no criminal history. Yeah, no.
Can you take us back, Rachel, to the moment when you heard that Ruben had been shot and how you heard about it?
That morning, they came to my house and they let me know what happened, and I just couldn't. My very first question was, where was he? Because everybody liked him, and I wouldn't think that he would ever get in a situation where someone would want to hurt him. Like nobody would fight him or stab him or shoot him. I wouldn't think. So I was assuming it was a car accident because he was not a violent person. And they told me that it was in South Padre, and that they told me how and by who. And it was a shock to me because I didn't understand why they had to do that. It didn't make any sense to me, and I couldn't wrap my head around, because he wasn't violent. I don't even know what to say. What was your question again?
No, how you learned about it and your immediate reaction to the news.
I was devastated and in disbelief. And it's bad enough to lose your child, but then to lose your child at the hands of law enforcement when they're supposed to be the ones to protect your child, like, it didn't make any sense to me. I couldn't understand. Anyone who knew him know that he wasn't a threat or a violent person, so that's why it was so hard to wrap my head around how this happened.
The official who came to your home to tell you that your son had died, what did he tell you?
He had told me that there was an accident ahead of them, and Reuben, the traffic was slow because due to the accident that was ahead of them, and Reuben was there, and the officer pulled him over. He didn't say exactly. He didn't pull him over. It was so slow, and he was so close that he saw a bottle
of alcohol.
Alcohol in the car, and that Reuben appeared to get nervous, and that he went a little straight. I think he told him he wasn't going to pull him over. He had told him to go ahead, and I'm not sure. There was a bunch of confusion, but I can't even know what to say. That he went forward and that he tapped an officer, and that
That's what the official told you.
yes, and that it was a bunch of commotion, and that that's why they killed him.
What did you think when you heard that?
I was like, what? Like, why did he do that? I was like, that's it? Like, what are you talking about? It didn't make any sense to me. Like, that was so aggressive and so excessive, and I don't think he deserved that at all. I think it should have been handled differently. I think it could have been handled differently, especially if they were that close and that slow of a speed. Like, if you're right there next to him, like, it just didn't make any sense to me. Yeah.
Tell us what you know, Rachel, about the night that your son was shot. What was he doing there? I believe he was celebrating his birthday, actually, with a friend.
Correct. Yes, his birthday was March 10th, and he went out there with his best friend, Joshua. They hadn't planned it. They had got a call from some friends to go out there and join them, because they had got a condo. So they went and joined some friends out there. He was off on the weekends, so he called Joshua and it's like, hey, let's go. And so, yeah, they went.
How often did he do that?
Never. This was the first time he ever went out of town and on his own.
Ever?
Yes, because
Wow.
he had a girlfriend from like 16 to 22, so 17 to 22, so that he was always with his girlfriend. So he never really had an opportunity to go out and do stuff like that, because they had broken up 6 months prior. So this was really like his first time like going out there and experiencing.
Rachel, the Department of Homeland Security said your son, quote, intentionally ran over an ICE agent, and that is the reason why another ICE agent shot him. Is that something you think your son would have done?
Absolutely not. No, of course not. He was not a violent person. He was not aggressive. He was trying to comply, and based on what the witness that was in the car, his best friend, and that's not what he's saying happened.
Have you seen any evidence to support the allegation from DHS that your son hit that agent?
No.
It's been nearly a year since your son was shot. Have you received any report, any findings, any videos related to that incident?
No.
Do you know why?
No. Well, I did ask why, because I had been trying for a while, and I did ask why, and I was told that there was other cases ahead, and there was a backlog, and that's just the process. So I didn't know any better, and I believe that. So I respect law enforcement, I respect the process, so I was just waiting till whenever I kept being told it was still under investigation, so they couldn't release nothing to me or the family, or I just kept being told it was under investigation.
It's been a year since Reuben was fatally shot. How does it feel that you have yet to receive the information that you've been asking for about that case?
It's awful. Like, no parent should have to do this in this situation, because we don't have answers still. We don't know for sure. We don't know. We need to know what happened. I can't just accept their word for it. I need to, where's the video? Like, we need evidence, because like I said, based on what I was told initially by the official, and based what I was told by the witness that was in the vehicle, he did not run over anyone, and there's still no video. Like, if it's so cut and dry, why don't they just show me? I'll accept that. Like, I'll live with that if it's true, but I really doubt that, because it just doesn't match his character or who he was. He was not like that.
You don't believe the official DHS account?
Absolutely not, because they're using the words "ran over," and that's not what I was told.
Too.
Yeah, there was never an intentional, man, can you run over? That's not what I was told. And I was also told no injuries. I asked, well, they said someone was tapped, and I was like, well, was he okay? Like,
the ICE agent.
Correct. And I was told, oh no, he was fine. Actually, I was told he went back to work the next day. So he didn't get punished. And it's just not fair to me that we're living with this uncertainty in the background for all this time. And I just want to know the truth. If it's, like I said, like I'll live with that if it's true. But I highly doubt that, because it just doesn't match who he was.
And Rachel, were you told from the beginning that it had been an ICE agent who shot your son?
No. I didn't find out till an article came out, and it was written in little tiny print on the bottom that the police officer didn't want everybody, he wanted everybody to know that it wasn't from the police, it was from an outside agency. And I didn't understand what that meant. So I had to find out later. I asked later, and then I was told that it was an HSI agent.
When did you find that out?
I guess about a week after, but yeah.
What did you think when you found out that it had been a federal agent at ICE that shot your son?
I didn't know what to think. It didn't make any sense to me. You figured they would, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
Overall, Rachel, what do you think about the way that authorities at the state and federal level have handled your son's case?
Well, okay, so now since everything has come to light, I just want to say that I am thankful for the ones who are willing to speak up and help. It's really appreciated that they're trying to get things moving finally after so much silence and kind of stonewalling. Like now they're pushing for answers, so I'm grateful for that. But during, it felt horrible. It felt helpless. Like I had no one to help me. Like living with uncertainty while everything just keeps going, and I just felt frustrated, hurt, like disregarded. I don't know. It's awful.
Do you think the investigation has been fair and transparent so far?
No, I don't.
Why?
Because there was an eyewitness in the car who has a contradicting version of what they're saying on the report. The words they're using on the report is ran over, and that's not accurate. That's why I reached out for help in the beginning, because that was not what I was told. So I don't know. We still don't know.
Do you think your son, Rachel, was the victim of excessive force by
Yes.
federal agents?
Absolutely, I do. I think that could have been handled a different way. I think it should have been handled a different way. I think they were just confrontational and aggressive and impatient, and I think he was confused and probably scared. And I think it should not have happened.
You think it could have been prevented?
Absolutely, yes, I do.
What does justice look like for you here, in this case?
Justice would be the truth, transparency, accountability, no contradictions, videos, evidence, body cams, reports, proof. Especially because you can't keep doing that to people, the excessive force or deadly force, because something needs to change. Other families can't have this happen to their kids. Like, that's horrible. So justice would also be helping other families as well, to prevent this from happening to other families.
You mentioned, Rachel, that Reuben was with Joshua Orta, his friend, during this incident, and that they were traveling together to celebrate your son's birthday. Joshua tragically died recently. I imagine that is yet another layer of heartbreak and pain.
Yes, that's been very hard. They were the best friends. They called each other brother. Like, they were so close. And losing him is really hard, because he was like a living reminder of Reuben, because they shared so many memories, and now he's gone too. And yeah, it's been rough. And he wanted to do this. He told me with his own words, like, I kept in contact with him, and he was like, that was not right. They shouldn't have done this. I'm going to be with you. I'm going to tell them. And he was like, he wanted to do that. He wanted to speak for him and give his side. And it broke my heart, and it's devastating. And yeah, it's been really rough, really overwhelming.
In those conversations, what did Joshua tell you about what happened that day?
He told me that the officer told Reuben to turn around, and they were going to go. They were going, and then people started converging or surrounding the car and just yelling. It was a bunch of commotion and chaos. Like, they were just being really aggressive. And he said that an officer was in that lane and got in front of the vehicle and kind of like slammed on, like, to stop it. He feels like that man got in front of the car or hopped on it, like aggressively stop them.
The agent.
Yes. And that's when he said that he got tapped. And then he was like that on the vehicle, and the other one just started shooting. But no warning, No time. No, they were so close. Like, why did you have to do that? It still upsets me to think about it because it doesn't. It's so fast. Like a split-second decision. They didn't give him a chance. He was compliant. The car was in park. The car was in park, and he was not at a high rate of speed. No one got run over. There was no injuries. It's just a totally different version of what they're feeding everybody. Well, what they're telling me, the family.
And your son was shot point blank several times.
Yes, he was 3 times.
3.
Mm-hmm.
During this entire process, Rachel, over the past year since Reuben was shot, did ICE ever contact you and say, it was an ICE agent from our agency who shot your son?
No.
Never.
No. Are they supposed to? Do they do that? I've no. No one ever contacted me about that.
Nobody from the federal government has reached out to interview you or to solicit any feedback, any information from you?
No.
As you know, Rachel, this is not the only case of a U.S. citizen being killed by an immigration agent at the federal level over the past year. In Minneapolis, Renee Good and Alex Preddy were killed by ICE and Border Patrol agents. Do you see similarities between your son's killing and those cases?
The only similarities I see, I mean, Ruben's case is totally different because he was not a protester. I mean, he was just a young guy looking for a spring break birthday celebration. But the similarity I do see is that he was a U.S. citizen and at the hands of law enforcement. And it also seems aggressive. And yeah, those are the similarities that I see.
What about the credibility of what the government is saying?
There's a similarity in that too. The wording that they use, it seems like they just use these cold words to sanitize their actions, to kind of like misrepresent, to kind of rationalize their actions, and that doesn't seem right. Because
in a statement, DHS said the ICE agent who shot your son fired defensive shots.
Reuben was not a threat that night. He was not a threat to anybody, ever. Like I mentioned earlier, he would feed the kittens. Like, he was not a threat. He was not a threat to the officers or the community or anyone ever, until they prove me otherwise. But they haven't shown me anything, so I refuse to believe that narrative.
And he was not out there to protest, to be an activist.
No. He was
an agitator.
Right, correct. There's nothing political about that, no.
You know, immigration and ICE have become very politically charged, polarizing, emotional issues, especially recently. Has Reuben's killing changed your views on immigration enforcement, ICE, perhaps the federal government? And I ask you this question frankly because I learned from your attorneys that you supported the president in the recent election, President Trump.
Correct. I did. I don't blame President Trump for the death of my son because he wasn't the one who pulled the trigger, but I do think that something needs to be changed in that department as far as the pattern of violence or abuse and impunity, if I can use that word.
Among federal agents.
Correct, yes. It just doesn't seem right to keep doing that to people, to humans. To me, it's not about left or right, it's about right or wrong, and stuff like that shouldn't be happening.
So you're saying you're not speaking out about your son's killing because you oppose the president. You voted for him, right?
Right. Yeah, no, it's nothing political as far as I'm concerned. It's about my son's life.
You're speaking out about your son's killing, not for political reasons, but because you want justice to be served.
Correct. It has nothing to do with, you're right.
What has been the most difficult part of this process, Rachel?
Let me see. It's been incredibly overwhelming. The most difficult part is the uncertainty, not knowing for sure. I just want answers. And it feels like somebody out there has video and there's witnesses that were there that saw that. It was spring break. And I've seen video of afterwards. So somebody saw before that, right? And it just living with the not knowing, I just want to know what happened, why they feel it was justified, and I honestly don't believe that. I'm not a mother in denial. I'm just a mother in doubt because I know my son and I know he's not a threat.
So, in some ways, the lack of closure is the most difficult part.
Yes, thank you. Correct. Exactly. I think just knowing the truth will give me closure. I just want to know
And
the
peace
truth
of
so we
mind.
could heal and move on. Correct. Yes.
And the rest of the family, Reuben's siblings, how are they dealing with all of this?
It's been really hard. He was really close to his sister. So she's having a really hard time. She's very emotional and it's been overwhelming. It's been really hard on us. We've been struggling. I mean, we have each other to pull through, but it's hard. It's hard to see her go through these things.
What do you miss the most about Reuben?
Just his presence, just him being there, you know, and I'm sad because I'm never going to see his children or, you know, like the hopes and the dreams that he was enthusiastically looking forward to, that it was just taken from us. And I feel it was preventable. I just miss him just being here. His laughter, he would always make us laugh. Like, he was a beautiful soul, and I just really, we all deeply miss him and love him, and it's just horrible. It's been horrible. Sorry.
No, you're doing great. How would you like Reuben to be remembered by people?
As just the friendly person he was. Like he had a lot of friends, and he was just really humble and sweet. And I don't want him to be remembered by the last moment of his life. I want him to be remembered who he was as a person, and everyone who knew him knows that it just isn't. This is not right. I don't even know. Sorry. I don't know what to say.
As you know, Rachel, immigration, ICE, immigration enforcement have become deeply polarizing issues in this country, very politically charged. Has your son's fatal shooting changed your views on any of those issues, including the current administration? You told me earlier that you supported President Trump in the 2024 election.
Not about the president, but about that department.
DHS.
Yes.
How
Definitely.
so?
Based on the statement that they made, seeing how the words that they chose to put out there about my son, that's as insult to injury, because there was no officer run over and there was no officer injured, and there's contradicting statements, and that makes me distrustful. Like the confidence in the system that changed my view for sure. Seeing what they're capable of putting out there and stuff, it's without even knowing for sure with video or evidence. Yes, it's changed my views for sure.
And there has been a similar pattern in other cases.
Correct.
Renee Good, Alex Preddy. Do you think there's a broader problem here?
I do. I think that this overly aggressive pattern of violence, it's been proven now. Ruben's case was before all this, but now since this stuff is coming to light, now we could all see it, and it's like, wow, like it's definitely a problem.
Because of the politics of this issue, some people watching this interview may say, well, she's just another critic, opponent of the president who wants to criticize his administration. Is that accurate?
That's false. Usually I'm apolitical, like I don't sway one side or the other, and like I mentioned earlier, it's not about left or right with me. It's about right or wrong, and it's not left or right. It's human life. That's what it's about. For my son's life, I don't really care about the politics. I care about my son, and I care about the truth and accountability, and I just want proof so we could either accept it or just move on with our lives and heal. That's what I care about.
Rachel, you mentioned that your family deeply respects law enforcement. Has that changed since your son's killing?
No, we still respect law enforcement.
But you would like them perhaps to act differently?
But I do think there, in that department, what is the name of that?
DHS.
DHS. I think there needs to be certainly some, maybe better training or some kind of change.
More transparency, perhaps?
Exactly, more transparency. I think also I was very disappointed in hearing the wording that they used when they put out their statement.
Accusing your son of intentionally running over one of
Correct.
the agents.
I think that's very callous, and that I think they should fix that, because that's not what I was told. And how can you just blatantly say that and there's no video? And that's very upsetting and hurtful and damaging to just put that out there like that. That's awful.
And if you had the chance to talk to the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, or even perhaps the agent who shot Reuben, what do you think you would tell them?
Something needs to change. There needs to be better training, or that was not right. You know that my son did not run over a man. Look up the definition of run over. That is not what happened that night. I was told no one was injured. So where are these medical records showing this injury? Like, where's the video of my son being a threat? There is none. I have not been shown one. My son was not a threat that night. He was a victim. The people who are supposed to protect and serve killed him because they were overly aggressive, or they're just impatient, or just didn't want to deal with him, or I'm not sure why they did that. There's no transparency, and I don't appreciate the fact that they're just putting these words out there to sanitize or to rationalize their actions. That's not fair. That's not right. They know it's not right. How would they like it if that was their relative and someone's just using these words loosely? And that's irresponsible. And I don't appreciate that. And it's upsetting.
Is there something that perhaps I didn't ask you that you wanted to mention, underscore?
I think I've said it before, but I just wanted to say it one more time, that my son was not a threat that night. He did not run over anybody, and no one was injured. And he was a good person, and anyone who knows him knows that's true. And until they show me proof, I reject their narrative, and I believe Josh. And if what they say is true, I will have to live with that. I will have to accept that. But I don't believe it until they show me proof. We don't know. We still don't know. There's no transparency.